Now I want you to be honest with yourself. Is a lack of confidence sometimes stopping you from doing the things that you know you need to do? For example, if you're just starting a small business, maybe it's going live or recording your first video or your first training session, or perhaps it's just even posting on social media. Maybe it's going to a networking event because you know you need to go to these conferences and it will help you, it will boost you, but you just can't bring yourself to actually do it. And if you do it, you kind of don't go all in. You stay reserved, you secretly want to go back home, and you'll make any excuse to be so unwell that you can't possibly attend, and you will curl up on the sofa with your duvet and just pretend and shut the world out and become, the reclusive introvert, because that feels more comfortable. And don't worry, I have been there too. Had a little bit of chocolate, had a biscuit, felt sorry for myself, sat and thought I'll just binge on some TV for a little while. In fact, most evenings when I first started my side hustle consisted of, do I put myself out there and do that recording? No, I just don't feel, I feel too tired, I don't feel with it, all that kind of stuff. And yet the reality is, the reason you want to do this is because you know you've got this unleashed potential inside of you. And I don't know why I'm patting my tummy, which feels kind of odd because I'm having a baby now, but I always used to say it felt like I'd got so much more in here to give, and I just wasn't able to do it because I couldn't bring myself to show up strong. So I talk a lot about preparing yourself and getting into a strong position. When you feel strong, when you feel worthy, when you feel more confident, and it does keep coming back round, you've got to keep working on it, then you are able to put yourself forward a little bit more at a time. You should see some of my earlier videos. So first of all, apologies, I've got a croaky throat. It's just a common cold, I assure you, that the children have brought home. I thought I was over these things, but it turns out we're not immune from everything, even if we like to think we are. So I might take the odd sip of water, and hopefully you can put up with a slightly croaky throat. But I just thought, I really need to record something. It's been like a week of not being able to speak properly, and I really wanted to give you a boost because there are some things that have really helped me. Today I'm going to share how to get instant confidence in those moments. So there are lots of strategies for developing long-term confidence, for building your confidence, and we'll definitely talk about those in another episode. But today I want to focus specifically on those moments, the moments right before you're about to go on stage. Maybe wind it back, maybe the moments right before you're about to go in front of a camera. Maybe wind it back even more and go, it's the first moment I'm going to go to a networking event and meet another business person or businesswoman, or try to build up my network because I know I should. Perhaps it's the first time you're going to go on a training course or a conference. I do loads of that now, but in the early days, that was kind of odd. That was like, I'm here on my own for a 3-day conference. Who do I talk to? What do I do? I don't have a buddy. Everybody else seems to have a buddy. Well, how do you deal with that in that moment when you just want to go home? You just want to curl up in bed. You just want to sit in front of the sofa, and you know that's not going to get you anywhere. And you'll also beat yourself up and feel guilty for it. You know, one of the worst things I think used to happen is you go to a networking event, you'd sort out your childcare, you'd make all the travel arrangements, you'd even book it in your schedule, and you get yourself there, and then you come away without a single genuine deep connection, without a proper connection. Why? Because everyone else seemed to know each other. And you seem to be the only person who didn't know anybody and didn't fit in and wasn't able to make those connections. So there's nothing worse than actually getting yourself there and then falling, sleepily into the corner watching while everybody else sort of integrates and connects and talks about what they're doing and just listening and thinking, well, it's okay, I'll just take in the atmosphere and get used to it and I'll never come to this networking event ever again. That's not useful to you. I want you to make the best of every time that you put the effort in, that you do something. I want you to get the most out of it. Your time is so precious, and you probably want to move forward like at a rate of knots to build your freedom life. If you're not feeling strong and confident in those moments, you're going to be held back. No one is going to see that shining light inside of you. And that's what we want. We want to start to build those connections, those relationships. We want to start putting you out there. But in those moments, right before you're about to do it, and you just go, actually, I said I'd do it today, but I'm not going to. Or I said I'd go this week, but I'm not going to. I don't feel like it's something's come up. You know, we let those little excuses become the reason not to do something, instead of those little excuses being the things that we just, knock out the ballpark like mums do. Like, I deal with that. I can deal with anything. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to follow some research that has been practiced by transformational coaches for many years, including in sports. Tony Robbins practices it for many years and has had a lot of success with it. And Amy Cuddy's research, which is the most important thing here, it's backed by science. So I'm going to share a TED link underneath this video and underneath this podcast, because you really need to watch her study and listen all about it. I'm not going to go into all of the technicals in this session. I just want you to come away with 3 at least solid things that you can do or be aware of when you're in that moment, so you can get some instant confidence that just gets you going, gets you out there and gets you doing the thing that you need to be doing. And you can build on that each time you go. So I want you to think about what's going through your mind and your brain and your body at the time when you're starting to feel stressed, upset, or anxious about a situation. Your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, is going up, and you don't perform at your best. It's like when you go into an interview. If you used to hate interviews, it's like any of those sorts of things. You feel stressed, you feel anxious, you're not performing at your best, you can't think clearly, you get brain fog. You know that term, brain fog? So like when somebody asks you, so what do you do? And you kind of stumble over your words because you haven't really thought about how to do your pitch, or you're uncomfortable pitching because you've never done it before. I am too. I don't even call it a pitch. I just introduce myself in a kind of roundabout kind of way, and it starts to have the same words and effects on it most of the time now because I've just done it so many times. But in the beginning, this is hard stuff. How do you do a greeting on a video when you're about to start your video? I used to get tripped up by the hi, hello, who, ha, yes, hello everybody. I'm Sue. Who am I? What do I explain? My introduction? Who am I? And we get bogged down in all those sorts of things. We're just not performing at our best. So we need that stress hormone brought right back down. Now, how many of you have either been sat in a conference room, not looking around, wanting to keep your shoulders down inside, perhaps folding your arms, looking down, looking away, not wanting to make eye contact, because secretly you don't want somebody in that moment to come and sit with you or talk to you or introduce themselves. And they won't, because that's what you're putting out there. But you're doing it because you genuinely don't want to be there. You feel like, I can't wait till this is over. I just want to do the training and then go home. But the reality is, in those situations, you kind of need the other people. They're your accountability buddies. They're your masterminders. They're the people on the same journey as you that understand what you're going through and are going to give you that momentum, because there's this incredible inertia when you get going that you've got to overcome. So if you're sat like this, if you're sort of hunched down, if you're not making eye contact, you're looking away, open your book, pretend to look at your phone, do all of these things, you're sending signals to everybody else in that room not to connect with you, and you're sending signals to your brain, you don't want to be here, you're looking forward to leaving, and you don't feel very confident. So here's what you do. We want to send a different message to our brain. You ever heard of the power walk? I used to do this thing where I used to walk down the office and I didn't even know I was doing it. When I first got my leadership role, I would power walk down the office. We had this great long open plan office and my desk was at the other end. And it just felt so good in the morning to look good, feel good, smile on my face and say good morning to everybody as I power walk down the office. And maybe some people judged me for that. And at the time, I probably just didn't care. And looking back now, I still don't care because I know I felt good. And when I felt good in those moments, when I got to that other end, or if somebody stopped me about a project, I could answer them because my mind was in full flow. My mind was clear. I could deal with it. Now, Amy Cuddy found exactly the same thing in her research. She calls it doing the power woman, the Wonder Woman pose, hands on hips, standing back, shoulders back. For 2 minutes, she had her participants do this and then attend an interview. And what she found is the ones that had done this power pose performed better. They reported less stress and greater clarity of thought, and they performed better in interviews. Now, this study went on and on. They measured all sorts of things, all sorts of testosterone levels. And what you find is testosterone, as we know, can be linked with this power, this leadership, this feeling of dominance and power. And now, I'm not advocating that that's how you have to change who you are, but you do need a certain amount of personal power in order to unleash that potential and do the thing that you want to do. So yes, testosterone is needed. And by simply doing a power pose, by doing the Wonder Woman pose, sticking your feet up on the desk, filling space. You know, like the traditional picture of the man at the desk with his feet on the desk and his arms behind his head. That's filling space. And when you're filling space, you're feeling strong and powerful, and you're putting that out there in the world. Whereas when you're playing small and you're shying away and you don't want anybody to ask you the questions, you're sending a very different message to your brain. So one of dominance, one of high testosterone levels is really going to help to boost your confidence in that moment. And yes, you're going to have to do it for at least 2 minutes according to Amy's studies. But isn't it so interesting that just one thing you can do with your body can overtake your mind? Now, Tony Robbins will also talk about bouncing. Burchard talks about this as well, doing all sorts of different techniques and exercise routines. I think that, yoga we often use to calm and center our minds and focus. That's great. And then if you want to finish it with a faster routine with your favorite music and get moving, get your body pumping, then you will definitely increase your testosterone and reduce your cortisol, your stress level hormone, which will have a massive impact. So here's what I want you to do today. I want you to think, next time I need instant confidence, come on, Sue, where's my power pose? Where's my power walk? What are my shoulders doing? What am I telling myself? And I'm going to add an extra bit that's kind of just for me. The first thing when you do this, grab get yourself in front of the bathroom mirror or something. Get yourself in the ladies' restroom, wherever you need to be. Grab your phone. Give yourself a big smile. A big smile, shoulders back, do your power pose, your power walk, whatever it is, a big smile. A knowing smile that looks into your eyes and says, I know I can bloody well do this, and I'm going to, and I'm going to smash it. So bring it on, because I'm bringing my A game today. But on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a fantastic week, folks, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Bye.